Betts. I'm grateful to you for the opportunity to speak in this debate, and like others, let me take this opportunity to praise the Right Honourable Gentleman for Delyn for bringing the House's attention once again to this important issue. He rightly took time out to praise USDAW, the campaigning union, particularly strong campaigning union on this issue, and I should acknowledge too the financial support that they give to me. But he also rightly praised the work of the co-op group, of which I know well as a member of the co-op party. USDAW and the co-ops group work in very different ways has served very much to push this agenda quite rightly up the political agenda. And long may that continue while there is as little action on this issue as I'm afraid to say there has been to date. The Honourable Gentleman for Henley quite rightly raised the impact of retail crime on small businesses in our communities. And I think of the small businesses as well as the big retail concerns in my constituency. Harrow is no longer a manufacturing town. It is the businesses that are based in Harrow are predominantly retail. Many of them work on very small margins, an issue that he alluded to. And the significant increase in shoplifting that we have seen has put some of those businesses at risk, which I want to come back to in a second. But the issue of the rise in violence in our shops, as the Right Honourable Gentleman for Delyn set out, has had a profound impact on many of those who work in our shops. They are public servants, as the Right Honourable Gentleman for Birmingham quite rightly said, and they deserve the protection of all of us in this place. But it is not just the impact on the individual shop workers or on the individual business. It's also on the impact of retail crime on our communities. The sense of an area being less safe to enjoy, the possibility of businesses leaving, and the deterioration in the strength of those district shopping centres. And that's what brings me in particular to this debate. I was staggered in a conversation with one particular manager to hear of a 20% rise in shoplifting just in the space of 18 months following the closure or the announcement of a closure of the major police station in my constituency. And indeed, since 2011-12, according to UK crime stats, there's been a trebling in the amount of shoplifting offences recorded in my constituency, a remarkable rise by any stretch of the imagination. The Right Honourable Gentleman for Delyn quite rightly raised the issue of violent crime, which is, and the violent crime statistics, again, there's been almost a doubling of violent crime incidents in my constituency. Hardly surprising when one considers that 30% of police officers have disappeared from the streets of Harrow since 2010. And that is because of the considerable cuts in funding that the Metropolitan Police have received. So there do need to be stronger deterrents against attacks on retail workers. And I join the Right Honourable Gentleman for Delyn in urging the government to firstly give us an update on the scale of the responses to the call for evidence that closed in June. But I remain very strongly of the view that we need a much more clear deterrent against violence in shops. And I cannot understand, I have to say, why a specific offence cannot be created. It is staggering that there is almost a £2 billion cost in terms of the losses to retail crime and the counter-crime prevention measures that businesses are having to take. when one thinks of of the latest example of a major chain, Mothercare, that is potentially going into administration, and the loss of those shops from all of our communities, it does bring home the scale of the impact, not just on individual members of staff, but also on our communities. Lastly, I think there are two specific points. In Harrow, £1 million extra into the Metropolitan Police's budget for Harrow West would enable us to return to having ward-based teams of a sergeant, 2 PCs and 3 PCSOs, much more able to gather intelligence about crime within our area, who's committing it, and much more able to react more quickly when retail crime is taking place. Our courts need to have more resources to handle cases more quickly, and working with police and crime commissioners need to be much more able to direct efforts to tackle the root causes behind some of the retail crime, the drug dependency and mental health issues that others have already mentioned.